This is the network service of the NTA.
Hello and welcome to the Medley Show. It's glad to have you join us today. Not your regular face, I'm sure, but not to worry. This is one that's also going to help you enjoy every single minute of the next 1 hour. It's been a great time with Cecil. Yes, she had a fantastic run, took you through various topics, help you enjoy every time you spent on the Medley Show. But Cecil is not here and Tochi is here. And with me, you're also going to enjoy every single time that you give to the Medley Show. Last week, of course, you talked about depression, and all the other weeks, we talked about several other topics. Today, we're going to have something very, very interesting. And I trust that for every time you see me on your screen, you're going to give me all the support that you gave Cecil. You will, right? I trust you will. So, right about now, we can start this week's edition of the Medley Show. And today, we're going to be talking about something very, very, very interesting. So, when you hear the name Agbani Derego, what comes to your mind? You hear Agbani Derego, Bianca Ono, Regina Askia, not just movies, of course, but she's also had a record for being on the runway, what we like to call beauty queen. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Today is all about pageantry, both for the male and the female, its impact, what we love about it, the fashion, every single detail about pageantry. And I trust that if you do not change the dial, you're going to thank me at the end of the show. Okay, so next up, let's give you like a backgrounder. Let's set the tone for what we're really going to talk about today. Here is a report that will help you understand what pageantry is all about, where it's coming from, and where we are at the moment. Watch this.
Pageantry in Nigeria launched in 1957 with the debut of Miss Nigeria. Established by the national newspaper Daily Times, the Miss Nigeria franchise originally started as a photo contest and has produced notable winners over the years. Grace Oyelude, who won the maiden edition in 1957, Yemi Idowu won in 1962 and went on to compete as a semi-finalist in Miss United Nations. In 1964, Edna Park was the first official Miss Nigeria to compete at Miss Universe, and in 1967, Roseline Balogun was the first official Miss Nigeria to compete at Miss World. Across the globe, beauty pageants are typically established with the goal of sending delegates to compete at the Big Four international beauty pageants, considered the most important in the world: Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, and Miss Earth. After the Daily Times lost its license for Miss Nigeria winners to compete at an international level, the stage was set for new Nigerian pageants to enter the scene. In 1986, Silverbird Group founder Ben Murray Bruce established the Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, with the main purpose of sending representatives to compete in Miss Universe and Miss World. MBGN has produced notable winners over the years, many of whom went on to place in top categories at Miss Universe and Miss World. Linda Chuba, who won the inaugural edition in 1986, also went on to secure the title of Miss Africa in 1987. Its 1988 winner Bianca Ono would also hold dual titles for Miss Africa and Miss Intercontinental 1989. Of course, the most memorable winner of the MBGN crown was Agbani Derego in 2001, who was also crowned Miss World in the same year. Derego remains the first indigenous African to win the Miss World title and the first Nigerian in the top 10 at Miss Universe. In 1990, the Beauty of Africa International Pageant was established by Daniel Opuene. Winners of this pageant qualified to compete at Miss International. The pageant's first and most notable winner was Regina Askia Williams. The now veteran Nollywood actress went on to represent Nigeria at Miss International in the same year. In 2002, Miss Earth Nigeria was established by Ibinabo Fibiresima to send delegates for competition in the Miss Earth pageant. Notable winners of this pageant include its first queen, Vanessa Ikeke, Stacey Garvey in 2007, Uko Ezinne in 2008, Modupe Susan in 2019, and Chioma Ifanyeze in 2020. The last four gained recognition for placing in top categories at the international level for Miss Earth. Aside from these stakeholders in the Big Four international pageants, there are several notable pageants held annually in Nigeria. The Queen of Aso Nigeria was established by Desmond Abula of Aso Multimedia Group in 2005 and continues to maintain a remarkable presence in the Nigerian pageantry landscape. This pageant was created to promote the cultural heritage and tourism value of Nigeria, and its winners go on to represent the country in international competitions, such as Miss Tourism Universe. Over the years, beauty pageants in Nigeria have contributed greatly to the country's social development, promoting community service and providing educational opportunities through scholarships. These pageants often help young women gain confidence and raise their self-esteem. Through various avenues of empowerment, ultimately, beauty pageants in Nigeria continue to celebrate the grace and intelligence of Nigerian women.
Glad to know that you're still with us on the show. If you just joined us, this is the Medley Show where we bring you premium conversation, of course, very interesting content. That was an in-depth feature as to where we are with pageantry in Nigeria. I mean, did you see the first beauty queen in Nigeria of 1957? Okay, compare it to what they were now. It is very, very different. You cannot imagine the huge transformation, but yeah, that's the way the world is. Things evolve, things change, and of course, fashion in the beauty industry has, of course, changed. And we've also noticed that there's a very funny trend. It's actually funny for me, and I see it more in the male pageantry. I mean, every single male, do we call them, okay, do we add beauty to them because they are kings, of course. Every one of them goes on to end up in movies. You're talking about Brian Okara, Michael Ikugbese, Kenneth Okoli. Every single one of them ended up in the films. And the very recent one is Prince. I mean, Prince and Warren, who went from Big Brother to also acting. But then, speaking of movies, I want to give a big shout out to someone whose birthday is today. Of course, she's also a beauty queen, but not in pageantry. I'm talking about Rita Dominic. Today is her birthday. A big shout out to Queen Rita Dominic. She is absolutely a delight to see on your screen. And as she celebrates today, from all of us on the Medley Show, I want to say a big happy birthday to you. Okay, I'm going to give you some things that I don't know if you know all that about her. Did you know her full name? We all know her with Rita Dominic, but she goes by the name Rita Uchenna Nkem Dominic Mwaturocha. Of course, she's married now, but we still know her as Rita Dominic. Did you know she's a member of Royal family of Abodi local government area in Imo State? Yes, of course, she is from Imo State, so don't be deceived by the Dominic. She's also Igbo. Also, did you know that she received a national honor by the federal government as a member of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria for her contributions to the country through entertainment? I mean, when I was much young, I was watching Rita Dominic playing Love with, of course, Jim Ike playing Lover. But at some point, we all start wondering, are they going to take it from the screen to real life? But then, of course, that didn't happen. But Rita Dominic has been in front of our screens for many years, and we have enjoyed watching her. Did you also know that her blockbuster film, The Meeting? Oh, I saw that movie. I love that movie. She did it with, I think, there was Femi Jacobs in it, several other great actors. That movie earned her Best Actress in a Leading Role at the AMVCA. I think with Audrey Films, yes. Audrey Company, yeah, that's the name of the company. Great movie. I laughed all through. I mean, we've been used to seeing her doing a particular type of film, but then we saw her playing a different character in The Meeting, and that was just amazing to watch. So no wonder they picked up that award. Congratulations to Rita Dominic, and I hope you have the most beautiful and wonderful birthday yet. Because, of course, there are several other years, and I hope you get to enjoy that. Okay, we're still talking pageantry on the show. The first feature you saw gave you an in-depth as to how far female pageantry has gone. Of course, rocking the runway, doing the fashion, and everything in between. Have you ever wondered how the kings of the runway do theirs? This next feature is going to give you an insight into male pageantry in Nigeria. Watch this.
Just like female pageantry, there has been a growth of male pageantry in Nigeria, and most of the winners have gone further to be outstanding in various creative fields. Mr. Nigeria is a franchise run by Silverbird Group, the same organizers of Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, MBGN. Mr. Nigeria is definitely not as popular or consistent as MBGN, but the finalists have performed better at Mr. World. After emerging the first ever Mr. Nigeria in 2007, Brian Okwara went further to emerge a semi-finalist at Mr. World in the same year. 16 years later, Brian has proved some acting skills aside from being a prominent international model in and out of Africa. In 2010, Kenneth Okolie took the record higher, emerging as second runner-up at Mr. World. He actually started a modeling career in 2006, working with brands in telecom, alcohol beverage, fashion, and men's cosmetic brand. But today, Kenneth has carved a niche in Nollywood, featuring in television series and films like Neka the Pretty Serpent, The Royal Hibiscus Hotel, and Bomo Bomo Express. And being the winner of 2015 City People Movie Awards for Best Supporting Actor in 2014, Emmanuel Ekubese emerged first runner-up at Mr. World. After a successful run as a model, Emmanuel gained significant recognition in Nollywood after he secured a role in the MTV series titled Sugar. He won Most Promising Actor of the Year in 2016 at the City People Awards and the Peace Personality of the Year at the Peace Achievers Awards in 2015. In 2017, Emmanuel was appointed United Nations Millennium Development Goals Ambassador. In 2018, Nelson Enwerem, popularly known as Prince, won Mr. Nigeria and also represented Nigeria at Mr. World, and in 2020, he entered as a contestant for the Season 5 of Big Brother Naija. Prior to now, Nelson contested and won Face of University Nigeria in 2016 while studying pure physics at the University of Calabar. Prince has also featured in a few Nollywood movies, hosted gigs, and had endorsements. In 2021, Prince Nelson launched his own salon, Airline Royale in Lagos, providing services for men, women, and children. For 14 years now, Mr. Ideal Nigeria has been producing outstanding young men as winners of their pageants. These men are involved in various skill acquisition projects and also have professional careers as models in and out of the continent. Here are some of the notable faces who emerged from Mr. Ideal Nigeria. Mr. Tourism Nigeria, Mr. Universe Nigeria, and a few others that have held editions for the past few years share one thing in common: the criteria in selecting winners. Male pageants judge men on leadership skills, intelligence, and physical fitness. It includes a modeling segment where grooming and poise are measured. Winners of male pageants typically travel the world attending charity events as a spokesman, win modeling contracts, amongst other things.
Welcome back to the show. If you just joined us, this is the Medley Show. And of course, today we are talking pageantry. We've given you two features, very detailed features on the female and of course the male pageantry in Nigeria. And so I'm sure, of course, you have some insight as to how it's been, where they've been, where they are at the moment. But I'd like to open our phone lines so that, of course, you can join in on the conversation. I'd like to know what you think. I mean, I want to know what you think about pageantry in Nigeria, its impact, your opinions, what you think about it generally, and of course, our numbers. Remember, messages only. Please do not call. Messages only. To 0811-7782-020. Again, 0811-7782-020. The number should be on your screen. So please tell us your opinion about beauty pageants. Tell us what you think is lacking, what should be done, your impression, how far. You know, of course, I'd like to know what you think. So please send in your opinions. And of course, moving in, while I wait for your messages, let's talk about, you know, there's something they call the Big Four of pageants. Of course, it's international, but then we also have them locally. We have first Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss Earth, and the fourth one is, I'll find it, but I'll get to it soon. But of course, you've heard, you know, Miss Universe, Miss World. But the thing is, in Nigeria, for many years, we've always competed in Miss Universe, in different beauty pageants, but we've only had a Nigerian once proceed to Miss, no, of course, they've all been to Miss World, but of course, we've only had one Nigerian winner, that's Agbani Derego, who, of course, is also an international model. You all know her. I'm sure so many of you are wondering where she's been, what she's doing. Of course, we also had several other beauty queens who have emerged. When you hear Bianca, of course, so many people just remember her as the wife of the late Ojukwu, but of course, she first started as a beauty queen. We've also had Regina Askia. Regina Askia went from being a beauty queen to also acting, and we saw her do several movies. I remember Most Wanted. I remember her doing so many Nigerian movies growing up, but then now she's in the US and she's a nurse. She's a nurse, yeah, and she's doing pretty well. But we also like to, you know, when someone becomes a beauty queen, the next thing is what community projects that they do, how much impact they make in the society. What do they do with their office? Because that tenure runs for one year, and in that 1 year, they're supposed to be funded by the organization who put that pageant together. And we expect that they should do humanitarian jobs, do human impact projects, you know, affect the society positively. That's what those platforms are supposed to be for. But then the thing is, I don't know how much impact of that we feel. I don't know how much we see the impact of that platform in our society. You know, we expect them to do so much more. We expect them to, you know, affect the society and also create good publicity for that platform to encourage so many other young girls come on board for the next edition. But the thing is, people have a very funny impression of beauty queens. Yes, I know you do. I know you also have impressions of beauty queens too. But the thing is, it's not always true what you hear. But then one thing that gets to me also about beauty pageants is the fashion. Yes, I love fashion. Everyone does. Everyone loves to look good. And fashion is something that is very, very, very important in any beauty pageant platform. And right now, I want to give you a little insight as to what goes on in the fashion world as it affects beauty pageants. Watch this.
My history with pageant started when I was in University of Nigeria in Nsukka. So I started in my second year where I got styling one of my cousins for one of the pageants. That was my first experience. She didn't win, she was one of the runner-ups, but then again, it was so interesting, the experience was amazing. So I decided to take it as a full-time job making pageant dresses for females. Fast forward, when I left university, I graduated, I came to Abuja for my youth service. I became a makeup artist and a designer also. So I started making dresses for little pageants in Abuja. I started growing till I evolved to MBGN, Miss Nigeria. Then now I make dresses for international pageants. So I've won so many crowns, Queen of Art, so like I can't even count the crowns. Like let's say from 20 11 to date, I've been winning all the crowns with my dresses. most beautiful in Abuja, Face of Democracy, MBJ, that's most beautiful in Nigeria. I've been to Miss Nigeria. For me, I consider the pageant itself and what they stand for. Do you have any pageant that's called, like any pageant that has to do with culture, or like Miss Culture something, Miss Africa something, Miss Heritage anything, you get? Now, I usually, when I'm making their dinner gowns, I prefer going for native fabrics, like our cultural fabrics, like Ankara, George. Like there's this pageant I'm working on very soon, it's called Miss Ocean World. Now, anything that has to do with that pageant should be like marine, like seashells, cowries. When making a cultural outfit, I put all these things into consideration. Fish, like if I have to do a cultural outfit, I have to use anything that has to do with water. Now her dinner gown also has to be like blue, you get? Something that has to look like marine, water-like. So these are the things I put into consideration most times. I studied the pageant industry in school. I noticed the way the girls come out every year for their contest. So I now went extra. Like there was a time I came out on stage with fire. So during the traditional outfit, before the girl comes, I introduced her with the fire display. Then she comes out dancing and everything. Now, these are the few things I did. Now, the second time I came out, they had to organize guys bringing the girl up on stage with the carrier. So I go, instead of the regular, I now go extra mile. Recently, pageant dresses have moved from using laces or plain fabric to using stone fabrics. I try to make my dresses look different from the regular dresses. Very flamboyant, looks very dramatic, it's everywhere. So when she comes out and stand on stage with other guests, you just see only her. Aside from the fact that okay, I groom her on how to smile, how to talk, how to wave, how to greet, or how to speak on stage, how to walk. The other thing I have to do is make sure the girl looks very, very pretty, because that's why I had to go into makeup too. And I give her extraordinary makeup look. So I actually do a lot. I like going extra mile for my clients, because for me to be in this industry, I've actually groomed myself all around. I do everything when it comes to pageantry, from the makeup, the hairstyling, the dressing, the catwalk, the grooming, the question and answer. I do everything, like anything that has to do with pageant, I do it all. Like once you have me, you have the whole theme in your pageant lifestyle.
Welcome back. It's still the Medley Show. So now you know what it takes to style a beauty queen in Nigeria, or just for any pageant at all. Okay, so it's time for us now to take a few messages. Yes, I did ask you to please send me messages. I'm still waiting for your messages, but then I'll take you through the ones that have come in already. This is Bashir from FCT. He says, I love your program. Keep it up. Thank you so much, Bashir, and we're glad that you are watching. Okay, I have another message from, okay, there is no name. Please remember to put your name and where you're sending us your message from. That will help us identify you. This person says, how do you know beautiful men or women? I don't know, I guess when you look at them. But of course, beauty pageants is not just about beauty. Yes, there is beauty in it, but it does mean beautiful in and out. Physical appearance, yes. Then again, what you have here, how you think, how you act, your fashion sense, every single thing has to do with beauty. That's why it's called beauty pageant, of course. So it's not just about who looks beautiful on the outside. Of course, they're also looking at your mind and how beautiful it is. This is another message from Bleeze D from Kaduna. Thank you so much for watching. And he says, I just want to say hi and I'm enjoying your show. Thank you so much. There's also a message from, okay, his name is Bobby Wayne Dogo. There is no location, and he says beauty pageants make us recognize the beauty in our uniqueness. Exactly, it's just like what I said. As a race or a global village, it is also a platform to interact and showcase the different ways of life and culture of people through the contestants. This should be encouraged at the grassroots level. Yes, this should be encouraged. Of course, we always talk about just Miss World, Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, Miss Nigeria, and all the big ones. He is saying that we should also encourage it. But no, I've also seen beauty pageants like someone said Miss Idoma. I've seen, I've also seen one in my village. Yes, I've seen Miss Neri. Yes, there's also Queen of Aso. That's just for the FCT. There's so many other beauty pageants that target young boys and girls at the grassroots levels. Thank you so much, Bobby Wayne, for that suggestion. And that was good. I think beauty pageant organizers should look into that. So if you're just thinking about the big four, also think about organizing pageants at the local level so that those girls and boys can also feel, you know, they're beautiful. Not just about the fine clothes and all. Okay, this person didn't tell me her name or his name, but he says, welcome to the show, Tochi. I love your conversation. Thank you so much. Yes, it used to be, it was Cecil, but now it's Tochi. Thank you so much for saying welcome, and I appreciate your support. This is from Udeme in Eket. He says, loving your show. Thank you. I'm glad you've enjoyed it so far. And I also have a message from Jane. Jane in Gariki says, how do you pick, what is the criteria for picking beautiful young men and women to participate in this beauty pageant? I don't know. I'm not an organizer, but I'm sure that when you register for one of those beauty pageants, they'll be able to give you the criteria with which they choose who will win and who will not. Okay, so I want to take you back to something very, very important. I did show you a feature earlier on the journey of beauty pageant in Nigeria, but basically just a female. I have a question. This feature will give you an expo into the question I'm going to ask you. But first of all, watch this.
Pageantry in Nigeria launched in 1957 with the debut of Miss Nigeria. Established by the national newspaper Daily Times, the Miss Nigeria franchise originally started as a photo contest and has produced notable winners over the years. Grace Oyelude, who won the maiden edition in 1957, Yemi Idowu won in 1962 and went on to compete as a semi-finalist in Miss United Nations. In 1964, Edna Park was the first official Miss Nigeria to compete at Miss Universe, and in 1967, Roseline Balogun was the first official Miss Nigeria to compete at Miss World. Across the globe, beauty pageants are typically established with the goal of sending delegates to compete at the Big Four international beauty pageants, considered the most important in the world: Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, and Miss Earth. After the Daily Times lost its license for Miss Nigeria winners to compete at an international level, the stage was set for new Nigerian pageants to enter the scene. In 1986, Silverbird Group founder Ben Murray Bruce established the Most Beautiful Girl in Nigeria, with the main purpose of sending representatives to compete in Miss Universe and Miss World. MBGN has produced notable winners over the years, many of whom went on to place in top categories at Miss Universe and Miss World. Linda Chuba, who won the inaugural edition in 1986, also went on to secure the title of Miss Africa in 1987. Its 1988 winner Bianca Ono would also hold dual titles for Miss Africa and Miss Intercontinental 1989. Of course, the most memorable winner of the MBGN crown was Abani Darego in 2001, who was also crowned Miss World in the same year. Darego remains the first indigenous African to win the Miss World title and the first Nigerian in the top 10 at Miss Universe. In 1990, the Beauty of Africa International Pageant was established by Daniel Opuene. Winners of this pageant qualified to compete at Miss International. The pageant's first and most notable winner was Regina Askia Williams. The now veteran Nollywood actress went on to represent Nigeria at Miss International in the same year. In 2002, Miss Earth Nigeria was established by Ibinabo Fibiresima to send delegates for competition in the Miss Earth pageant. Notable winners of this pageant include its first queen, Vanessa Ekeke, Stacey Garvey in 2007, Uko Ezinne in 2008, Modupe Susan in 2019, and Chioma Ifanyeze in 2020. The last four gained recognition for placing in top categories at the international level for Miss Earth. Aside from these stakeholders in the Big Four international pageants, there are several notable pageants held annually in Nigeria. The Queen of Aso Nigeria was established by Desmond Abula of Aso Multimedia Group in 2005 and continues to maintain a remarkable presence in the Nigerian pageantry landscape. This pageant was created to promote the cultural heritage and tourism value of Nigeria, and its winners go on to represent the country in international competitions, such as Miss Tourism Universe. Over the years, beauty pageants in Nigeria have contributed greatly to the country's social development, promoting community service and providing educational opportunities through scholarships. These pageants often help young women gain confidence and raise their self-esteem. Through various avenues of empowerment, ultimately, beauty pageants in Nigeria continue to celebrate the grace and intelligence of Nigerian women.
Okay, so you saw that feature again. Now here's my question. I'm not going to tell you what you win, but you definitely win something. Yeah? So if you know the answer, send it to... Yes, you definitely win something. Maybe airtime or something. But first of all, my question. Who was the very first Miss Nigeria? And in what year did she win? My second question. Who is the current Miss Nigeria? And how come she is still the beauty queen? I mean, there's something surrounding that. Yeah, I want you to find that out and send me a message. And whoever gets it correctly, don't worry, you'll get your gifts. Okay, speaking of gifts, we have a gift in the studio. I'm being joined by an ex-beauty queen. Well, I like to say if you're a beauty queen, you're always a beauty queen, whether you're still wearing the crown for that platform or not. I'm being joined by a model, an entrepreneur, a humanitarian, and a beauty queen. Her name is Chinomso Ogena Walter Ikubiri.
Hello.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
You seem to have a history
I know,
of
right?
being a beauty queen. I mean, Face of Imo 2010, Queen of Aso 2014, Miss Tourism 2016, and I'm sure there are more.
No, let's leave it at those.
Let's leave it at those three,
let's
right?
Leave it at those
okay, so
three.
now you can tell she has great experience in the field. You've done all that. Let me start from the very beginning.
Right.
From the very beginning. How did you get into beauty pageants?
Right. So thank you for having me here.
Yeah.
The journey, I would say, started from when I was in university. And so for me, I was more of a tomboy.
Sorry, wait, back it up. Back up a little bit. Back
I was
up.
a tomboy. No, if you actually pay close attention to me, you'll still see a little bit of the traits here
How
and there.
does a tomboy become a beauty queen?
So I said to myself, I have always been, I mean, I don't need to brag, but in all humility, I've always been a brain box. So I am more of a bookish person.
Okay.
I am big on studies, I'm big on research. I love to study. My friends call me professor. So when I got into university, I was very young, by the way, and I went to Imo State University. And so I heard of a pageant for my department. I think is Miss Humanitarian, I can't remember, it's a very long time ago. So I just said to myself, okay, now just give this a shot, right? And then I grew up in Abuja. Being in Owerri was like a culture shock, although I'm from that state, but I hadn't experienced the people as much. So I felt that was an opportunity for me to get closer to the people in the department, make friends, within my immediate environment. Yeah. And then I became the first runner-up. Right. And then there was this controversy surrounding the entire process. And I said to myself that, okay, this is just a departmental thing. I would go on out to represent my school at World Miss University Nigeria. So there's a pageant called Miss University World or World Miss University, yes. And that promotes more of intellect. So it's meant for undergrads, and then you get to represent your school. And beyond being beautiful or having a certain height or weight and looks, you present a project. So the judges for that pageant are actually professors. People don't know about this. Yes, the judges for that pageant are actually professors, you know. And so I got to represent Imo State University, and then I got to the regional stage. And then I still won at the regional stage. It was IMSU, UNIBEN, UNN. You know, it was, like I said, more of an intellectual pageant. So it just went on from there.
So when I told you she had experience, I wasn't joking. I mean, I mentioned just 3, but you're taking us through so many others. So, of course, you got in, you picked interest from school because you wanted to experience the culture of your people. But then you're in, and then you continued.
Yes.
So let's talk about your experience in being a beauty queen. What was the most striking thing for you? Like, you've been in several, so there must be a lot. So of course there must be something, there must be one particular thing that keeps happening for you. So what was the most striking thing for you in that experience?
Truthfully, for me, the most striking thing is the fact that you really never know how strong you are as a person until you, I mean, I don't mean to make it sound like a cliche or something, but you really never know how strong you are as an individual and how confident you are up until you're faced with being the winner. Like, you just have to win. And then you're in a situation where every other person wants to win. So, I mean, we all vibe ourselves up from time to time. We look at ourselves in the mirror and we say, oh, I'm the best thing that has happened in the world. I'm great. I'm the light of the world. I'm the salt of the earth. I am beautiful. I am bold. Guess what? You're in a competition with
where everybody's beautiful and bold.
So where everybody's confident. So at the end of the day, you need to put your best foot forward and consistently maintain that mark. As primary or as secondary it may seem, trust me, it is very difficult to achieve.
Yeah, because speaking of this sounds more like pressure to me.
Yes, a lot of pressure.
Yes, because living alone there's a lot of pressure in living alone. As being alive, there's a lot of pressure coming from all over, and then you're in a space where you have to prove you're better than the next
Everybody
person.
else, absolutely.
How do you deal with that pressure? First of all, you are mounting pressure on yourself to be your best. Then you're finding pressure from every other person around you. How did you deal with that?
So for me, sincerely, it was all about the price.
Oh, eyes on the mark.
Eyes on the ball. I always, like, I was all about the price. To date, I have lots of shoes and dresses, and I started making money from pageantry. So pageantry was not just a competition for me, it was a hustle.
Wow.
Yes, pageantry for me was competitions for me were a hustle. So after winning, I mean, respectfully.
Wait, are you serious?
Yes, 100% serious. So after, of course, you know, when you win a competition.
What were you hustling for?
Oh, the money. I got my first car in 2014 from winning Queen of Asa International.
Right.
Yes, and I have a few lands
about
from
the money.
For me, oh, I'm an Igbo girl, yes. Yeah, so
you know, the thing is,
for me.
It was about the money. The thing is, I feel like a lot of young people, a lot of people try to get some validation from doing pageants like this. Yours was about the money.
Mine
You
was
already
about
knew you were
winning.
beautiful and all, but you just wanted to get the paper, right? But for some other people, it has to be some validation that they're relevant, they're important, they can make an impact. And I saw an interview where you once said that being a beauty queen is beyond the beautiful face.
Absolutely.
So let's talk about that.
So I was going
How
to
did you get to that conclusion?
Like I said initially, it was about the money. But again, the beautiful thing about pageantry is upon emerging as a beauty queen, you must have a pet project.
Yeah.
You know, so that then led me into what I do today as a humanitarian.
Yeah.
Now, in giving a direct answer to your question, I cannot validate, how do I put it now? No matter how much motivation I give to you, if you are not self-motivated, I am just wasting my time. So you need to, on your own, find whatever it is that gives you that vibe, whatever it is that gives you that motivation. You must have, for me it was money. I had to pay my bills. I didn't want to ask my father for money. And you said to me that I can come for this competition and I can win 1 million naira. Let's go there.
So it was easy money for you.
Respectfully, yes.
God.
Yes, respectfully it was. So I got my
you're
first
the
car
first
from
person who I'm hearing say that, and
and I'm
They
sure
don't
might
admit it, but truly, I think it's about them. It's always been about the money.
They might come for me for this, but hey, it's the truth. Today, I happen to be chairing a board. So, you know, we have a National Association of Pageant Owners and art exhibitors in Nigeria. And I happen to be the head of the board for pageant queens all over Nigeria.
Right.
So we have Isabella Edem, we have Queen Atang, we have Beauty Tukura.
Just females? Just female pageantry?
No. All pageantry across board. So male, female, and teenage. You know, we also have teenage pageantry. You know, and then the truth is this again. Like I said, it's for me. It was about the hustle. It was about the money, which has now transcended into being an entrepreneur, being a humanitarian.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that journey.
Value.
Yeah.
Yes. So truthfully, pageantry was like my pathway, and that is the truth. Because my first pageant, of course, I didn't win anything. I didn't get the gift.
That's the face of emo.
Please,
oh my God.
I don't want to shame
Okay.
them. Because, you know, it's difficult getting sponsors.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, you know. So after that, I then went for, I don't know if I'm permitted to call the name of the brand, a telecommunications brand, one of the top 3. You know, I won their competition in emo. And they gave me sweet 1 million naira. And this thing I'm telling you.
In 2010?
Yes.
Wow. 1 million naira in 2010 as a student.
Yes, it was a lot of money. I was flexing. I was
So you started living the baby girl life very early?
More like I started seeing the value in hard work pays. You know, some people think pageantry is not hard work. It is hard work. It is hard work. It's a lot of work, you know. So I started seeing the value in, you know, it pays to work hard. And then also understanding that, okay, so now you have this money. What do you do with it? Do you buy clothes? Do you buy shoes? No, you need to also reinvest. And hey, I was able to pay my school fees from every competition I went for. I mean, my dad is late, God bless his soul, but he was really surprised, you know, right after 100 level. I was like, Daddy, don't worry, I'll pay my school fees myself. And so I practically paid my way through school from pageantry. I started modeling from pageantry. I was on a few recharge cards from, you know, that competition. And I was being paid for getting that done. And I said to myself, why not? I mean,
so if the job pays, we're just continue.
Keep doing it. And then if you also learn poise through the process, you learn etiquette.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the training, because I know that they get to give you all some sort of training to help you have some sort of finesse, you know, have charisma, to be confident in yourself. Okay, before we go on, let me remind you that we are on Instagram and Threads. Yes, Thread is trending. So the Medley Show is on Instagram and Thread as Medley Show on NTA. And you can also join us on YouTube on NTA series. Yes, that's it for. So please join our social media community. Drop your comments and we'll be very, very glad to read them on the show. So moving on, speaking about beauty queen, you know, I feel like a lot of girls, some people, I mean, not everyone is as strong as you are, but did you win every competition you participated in?
No, I did not.
Initially? You didn't win initially, but did you win every other one you participated in?
Yes, every other one, but I think from the top of my head, I've gone for a lot of competitions. So from the top of my head, I think I always made it to top 10. For Miss Peace Nigeria, I made it to top 10. For Most Beautiful Girl in Abuja, I was the first runner-up. Okay. And then, so you just, it's addictive kind of.
So here is the thing. There are 30 girls running for one position. Of course, like you said earlier, every single person feels in their heart that they were going to win. I'm confident, I'm beautiful, I can do this, I'm better than everyone else. But then, one person emerges winner. How do you think the other ones, or for the times you did not win, how were you able to convince yourself that you're still good and you can do anything else?
Fantastic. So truthfully, initially I felt...
Because for some people, it could dampen their self-confidence. Yeah. So how did you
And it did. You know, it did at some point, because you keep asking yourself, what did I do wrong? Am I not good enough? Why Chioma? So Chioma was, if she watches this, she'll probably laugh like, okay, now. You know, Chioma was the winner for Most Beautiful Girl in Abuja when I contested, you know. And then we're both light-skinned, we're both Igbo girls. And truthfully, I just felt like because she was shapelier than me. So that was what I felt at that time. Of course, I was younger. So I felt not good enough, you know. And that messes up with your psyche. But it's up to you, because in your daily life, we are dealt with challenges for time. Yeah. On the job, on your way to the job,
Yeah.
in your marriages, in your relationships,
Yeah.
as an employee, as an employer. You're dealt with challenges per time. Even as a Nigerian, as I constantly say, that being in Nigeria alone is a hustle, you know. So, but you keep moving, you don't give up. So I think me constantly going for further competitions was because I was looking for validation. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make
because
sense.
Because this is the price, you know, and until you get to that price. So let's use Mr. President, for instance. Now he's the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. He's at the peak of his career as a politician. I don't know if you understand what I mean.
do.
So anybody...
So for every win, you pat yourself on the back that, yes, I'm this
and then
good,
we get to
and
the,
then you go for
and
the
then
next
we get
one.
to the next
Why
one.
did you proceed for Miss Tourism International?
Oh, yes. However, I lost my dad.
Oh.
Yeah, so I lost my dad in 2017, January 2017. I lost him to cancer, and he was buried in March. He died in the US. Igbo people, we had to bring him back. So I couldn't. I did make it to, so the host country was Croatia.
Yeah.
And at that time, I didn't know just how difficult it was to get the Croatian visa.
Visa.
And if I may, I'd love to use this opportunity to also reach out and appeal to the government, because in my little capacity at that time, I tried to reach out to the Ministry of Tourism. You know, I tried, yes.
I get that.
Yes, so
I get where you're going
I didn't,
with that,
I couldn't get the, I'm just trying to give you an answer. I'm not trying to, you know, I've moved past that stage, but I'm just saying that I couldn't make it to the commission
Because
at
you
that time
couldn't
because I
get a
didn't get
visa.
the government backing. As a
Okay,
matter of
wait,
fact,
so you could, wait. You couldn't get the visa.
to that country. Can you beat that? Exactly. So you see why I had to
The
let it out.
position, what you were going for was not enough for them to give you visa.
So these foreign embassies, they do not
They don't care
particularly
about
about that.
things
So
like
for
that.
instance, let's say I am Miss Nigeria. Okay, Miss Nigeria no longer has the international franchise for Miss World. So let's say I'm Miss Girl in Nigeria,
Yeah.
and I need to go for Miss World.
Right.
So the onus falls on the organizers.
to pursue that,
Yes.
you just sit back and relax
Yes.
and they get it.
Yes. However, we didn't know how long that process was going to take. It was going to take
Right.
30 days to a month or more.
Or
and
more,
then
yeah.
I wasn't going to make it for the competition. And so I was told I needed a note verbal or something like of that sort. And the only way I could get that was from the government. However, you wouldn't believe it took the South African Tourism Ministry, can you be that, to reach out
Okay.
on my behalf.
All right. Before we proceed with the questions, let's take a few messages from, of course, people are watching and they've been sending in some messages. Okay, so this is from, there's a question. He actually said, okay, the question is actually for you. He's asking, could you please give me details on how to participate for Mr. Nigeria, Mr. World? I mean, I don't know if you have the answer to that, but that's what this person is asking. Probably wants to participate. This person says, I love your show. I love your guests. Thank you so much. Another message. Okay, guys, please do not call. Please do not call. Messages only. Messages only. Please do not call. I have another message from, oh, this is the answer to my question. I hope you get it correctly. Jerry from Jos says, I love your show. I want to let you girls know that you're on fire. Thank you very much, Jerry. So, this person, no name and no location, but you got just one of the names, Grace, 1957. What's the full name? Send the message again. 1957 is correct, but the name is not complete. So please send the full name, and of course, you might just win the gift. I have another message for this question is for you. She says her name is Mercy from Abuja. She says, what are the possible questions that they ask during pageantry? You want to answer that?
All right, so do you want me to take Mercy first, or do you want me to start with
Take
the
Mercy.
gentleman? Okay, so it depends on the competition. Various pageantries have various procedures. However, the questions are usually either current affairs related questions or common knowledge, general knowledge, common sense questions. So usually nothing outside of the box. It should be something that you should know. And then again, I'd love to use this opportunity to say that a lot of people go for pageantry. I don't know what they think.
Okay.
You know, you need to put in the work. You need to study. You need to research. At least you should know. I mean, how do you want to become a Miss Nigeria, for instance, and you don't know the name of, let's say, the president's wife, for instance.
Yeah.
For instance, I don't know the name of the minister for women affairs.
Beauty doesn't
for
take
instance,
you
exactly.
all through. Yeah.
So general knowledge, current affairs, and of course, just things you should know as an adult.
Right.
Yes.
So this is from Pearl in Calabar. She's asking, is size very important in pageantry? I'm going to add this to that question, right? You did mention earlier about you and Chioma.
She was curvy, yeah.
You're fair, Chioma is fair. Okay, so there is this notion about light-skinned girls being prettier.
I know, and it's sad.
Is that perception really true? Because I've seen very beautiful dark girls. So if you're dark, don't think you're not beautiful. So I'm going to add that to this question that Pearl is asking. Is size so important in pageantry? And is color also an edge?
Okay. So newsflash.
Yeah.
Because me, I'm a 100% person. I keep it real all the time, at all times and in all
Yeah.
places. So should I shock you?
Please do.
I didn't make it to the cut for a certain pageant. I just don't want to call the names of these things, so it doesn't look like
Please
I'm
don't call
not
them
played.
out.
But I didn't make it to the cut of a certain pageant in Nigeria. One of the top 2 in Nigeria, because I am light-skinned. And should I tell you what I was
Wait.
told?
They didn't want a light-skinned person.
No. Should I tell what I was told?
What?
Okay. So you said I shouldn't mention names. Are you sure don't
Don't mention their name, but just tell me what they told you.
So he looked at me straight up. He's my person now, you know, he's the organizer and all. He said to me, you're so smart, you're so brilliant. However, I think you should go for this because they prefer light-skinned girls, while we would want to portray dark-skinned girls. And I'm sure if you do the math, you know the brands I'm talking about. So giving you a direct answer to the question, no, it doesn't. It doesn't
matter.
It really doesn't
but it does
matter.
vary on which platform, because from what you're saying, some platform will rather pick someone who is dark, who will represent Africa. Yes.
So are you saying I'm not African enough? Now I'm about to cry on your show.
We're both, don't worry, we're both on the same boat.
That WhatsApp group.
We're both on the same, so yeah, of course. Then someone says, oh yeah, this is another answer to my question. She says, first Miss Nigeria is Grace Atinuke Oyelude, 1957. Correct. Yeah. But you didn't tell me your name and location.
So how do you win?
Send it again. So the last Miss Nigeria is Shatu Garko, 2021. Yes. And she is still, but you didn't tell me the reason why she's still Miss Nigeria though. So yeah. Moving on, I'll take, someone says you're very cute.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, no name or location still, but you are very cute.
Thank you.
Okay, so someone has said, this is another question, said,
so while we're looking for another question, I would love to answer the guy.
Yes, about Mr. World and yeah.
So yes, you can sign up for Mr. World Nigeria and Mr. Universe, and we even have Mr. Tourism Nigeria and a lot of other pageants. I think we even recently got Mr. Model of the World.
Yes, model, yeah.
Yeah, and all you need to do is simple. Just Google is your friend. Just go online and punch it, and then you see the details of the franchise owners here in Nigeria, and then you can also look them up on Instagram. As a matter of fact, for my Abuja people, so you see, I brought you good news here on the show. So we have a Men's Fashion Week.
Yeah, that happens. I think that has happened.
It's coming up. Yeah, the last one happened last year.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So the next one is happening, I think, end of this month or beginning of next month. So if you're here and you are looking to become a model / pageant king, just go to Men's Fashion Week and then Nigeria, and then you would be able to, I think, make it for the casting, and hey, you could start from there, and who knows? Okay,
so just before we go, I have one question that has been lurking in my mind. So everybody has two, actually, so you answer them really fast because we're about to end the show. Yay. So people have this impression that beauty queens, they have a terrible notion about beauty queens. In fact, I think they also have the same notion about people who act movies, say stuff like
women of easy virtues.
Yeah, and of course, the winners always sleep with the organizers before. Yeah, it's I don't know how they get that notion, but I would like you to clear that for us because you've won several platforms, and I don't think that has to be your story. Then secondly, okay, answer the first one and answer the second one, so that I don't give you a mouthful.
So here's the thing. I said to people that your actions or inactions are a reflection of who you are. Yeah. So if you constantly feel that I need to have slept with XYZ to get it to a certain point in life, that's on you. I don't owe you. You know what you did. I don't owe you that explanation. However, in giving you a direct answer to your question, the truth is, these are things that we cannot stop. These are things that we cannot change. You know, if you think that is what it is, try it. And then when you win,
you come and tell us, right? Okay. Thank you so much. Okay, now I wish you could talk more. Oh, you are a motivational speaker. That explains why you have so much to say. I was going to talk about all the projects that you've done, your humanitarian work across various countries. Yes. Congratulations. Well done on making so much impact.
Thank you.
We look forward to seeing many more things that you get to achieve. Yes, okay, that's our show today on the Medley. Did you enjoy yourself? I'm sure you did, because I had fun bringing it to you. Yes, I'm sure you had mad fun watching the show today. And thank you so much for your messages. Thank you for being so supportive. But I will be back next week with another fantastic conversation and, of course, guests on the Medley Show. Until then, you take care. Bye-bye.